Hey guys, so this is going to be the answers for your questions that you submitted to my Ask Me Anything video, take 2. I'm definitely not going to be able to get to all the questions today. There's, I think, like 100 questions you guys left. Also, I must say about half of them I've already answered before, so if your question doesn't get answered in this video, it's likely that I either skipped it because I've already answered it or just haven't gotten to it yet. So don't worry, I will either get to your question in a future video or I've already answered it, and y'all should check out my other Q&A videos like I may or may not have suggested in the other video. Just saying. Alright, first question comes from Sydney Sorry. How often do you dress up during the week, or what do most college students wear throughout the school day and to other events? If you hear my stomach growling, I'm sorry, I just haven't eaten yet today. I really need to do that, but this is a priority. Anyway, most college students dress pretty casually. I mean, nobody really cares, to be honest. Some people dress up like I do, and some people don't. Some people just wear sweats if it's cold, or just whatever. It's honestly, what you wear, I feel like, is not a big deal at all. I don't know. I'm pretty fashion conscious as far as what other people are wearing, but even I don't really pay a whole lot of attention to, oh, that person didn't try today, or that kind of thing, so don't worry about it. Connor LV asks, any possible tips for someone entering a biological sciences / medical sciences program? No. Also, any information on what you know about the MCAT? Sorry, it's kind of broad, but I want to know as much information as possible. I don't know anything about anything. As I've mentioned before, when I went to college, I planned to be a science major, go pre-med, and eventually take the MCAT and go to med school, but I immediately said, no, not gonna do that, not down for that, so I really cannot even address this particular subject. Sorry. Cadaver Stabber, when you subscribe to me, like, I get notifications in my email when new people subscribe to me, and can I just say, your username worries me a little bit. Are you okay? Because, you know, that's... Ooh. Anyway, would you recommend having a job while in college? If not, how do you pay for food, personal hygiene items, etc.? Okay. Would I recommend having one? Sure. If you need the money, absolutely. You don't really have a choice, right? It's a matter of balancing school and work, and on top of that, whatever social activities you would like to do. I don't like discussing financial matters. I think it's kind of awkward and it's something a little taboo in my personal opinion. I just don't like to talk about it. I think it's kind of it's just not something I would like to address. As far as the money that I have to use for like my whatever things, I make some money from YouTube, not a lot, some, and that's generally what I like to set aside for like fun stuff. So that's really all I can say about that matter. Bia Israel, sorry. Do you think it's a good idea to live on campus your first year of college? Absolutely, I've answered this before, but I don't even know why this is a question. 100% yes, because there's really not a great chance for you to make friends and to experience the full college lifestyle if you don't live on campus, especially if it's your first year. I mean, if you're a really outgoing person, perhaps you can make friends in classes and stuff, and going to certain activities or planned events or whatever, but to be honest, if you're not living the college experience with other college students, I feel like you're not going to get the full effect. So absolutely live on campus. Oh, another question from you. The only thing I'm really worried about is sharing bathrooms with a bunch of people. Could you maybe talk about your experiences of sharing bathrooms and just cleanliness in general? Thanks. I've talked about this before. It's not that big of a deal. It's totally doable. Catherine Gong, was it hard to adjust to dorm life? Is there anything we can do to ease the process? Please watch my CollegeTalk #1 about dorm life, because that's what that's all about. Jinsey Abraham asks, did AP classes / tests help you in college? Thanks. Yes, as far as having some credits already done, some classes that I was excused from or whatever. I don't think excused is the right word there. But I didn't have to take, let's see, I only had to take one math class, whereas I probably would have had to take a couple more. I went up to Calc BC AP, and I got a 5 on that, so I was exempt from a lot of the math classes I would have had to take for GEs. As far as science went, I was exempt from some of those too. I only had to take one 1 science class, 2 science. I don't know, I didn't have to take as many as I would have if I hadn't taken AP. The only thing that didn't help at all was taking Lit AP. That class was the worst class I have ever taken in my entire life. I am not exaggerating, it was the worst class ever, but I did get credits for it. It didn't, unfortunately, we have a mandatory writing program at my college, so that didn't help at all as far as getting rid of classes, but I did get some credits as far as coming in. So they do help, definitely. It's just a matter of whether or not you want to come in with a bunch of stuff done. I definitely think you would want to, but some people may think differently about that. Elizabeth D asks, do you think you can talk about summer or school year internships, work study, or being a TA? If you don't do any of this, do you have a friend? Stuff like how you get them, where to look, who to talk to, and how to get yourself out there. This would be super awesome. I am going to be interning this summer, but it's through like, I have connections like through a relative, so it's not really something that I went out and like tried to get it. It kind of fell into my lap sort of thing. The other things, work study and being a TA, I don't know anything about. That's definitely something to talk to counselors about. All of this stuff really is stuff that you can talk to counselors about. That's what they're there for. But this stuff in particular is going to vary per campus, so I would definitely talk to someone who works at your actual school. Alexis Lucero asks, do most people in college drink, or is it not as big of a deal as people make it seem? Okay. Also, what are your thoughts on all girls / all guy dorms versus co-ed dorms? Is one better than the other in your opinion? Okay. So my dorms were set up where it was all girls on one side and all guys on the other side on one floor. Then the next floor up would be all guys and girls, and they would alternate like that. So I lived with all girls. It wasn't a big deal. I feel like it was actually better to live with all girls just because it wasn't like closed off to the guys, because they literally lived across the hall, not the hall, but across the building from us, which it was a small building. It's not like that. So if guys wanted to come over, they would just like literally walk right over, and vice versa. I think it's nicer just because our common rooms, since we're all girls, you can generally assume that we're a little bit neater than guys, so it's kind of nice that we had that aspect. Not that I spent any time in our common room because I'm antisocial as heck, but that's beside the point. So that's that question. The first question, everybody drinks in college. I've talked about this in some other video. I can't really remember which one at this point, but everybody drinks in college. It happens. I did not until I was legal, and like literally not at all until I was legal. It's just not something that I ever wanted to do. Even now, you guys know I don't drink a whole lot. I'll drink, like I'll go to happy hour with friends sometimes or whatever, but I don't really drink for fun or without an occasion, I guess. Such a Gleek asks, could you please talk about if you would be cautious about moving from the East Coast to the West Coast for college, and if the quarter system, since most Cali schools have it, is as terrible as it seems? Actually, no. I don't think most Cali schools have the quarter system. Only the UCs and maybe a few others. Most, I believe, okay, I may be wrong about this, but I think most other schools are actually on semester, so is that wrong? That could be entirely wrong. I honestly don't know. Okay, Anyway, I don't know because I grew up in California, I go to school in California, I plan to stay in California. So as far as moving coasts, I have absolutely no idea what that would be like. I mean, it's going to be a huge adjustment. There's no getting around the fact that it's going to be a completely different a living situation. The weather is different, the people are different. I mean, that's unavoidable. So, I mean, it depends on what kind of person you are. If you're okay with that, if you are willing to take on the challenge and the adjustments and transition, then that's awesome and fine. Yeah, definitely don't worry about it or don't be hesitant about it. But if you're someone who doesn't like change, like myself, then it's definitely something that I'm not quite sure I would recommend for you. But I definitely recommend at least visiting schools that you're possibly looking into, or at least taking a trip to California to see what it's like if you haven't been here before, and see if you even like the vibe that you get from people, just because if you're going to be going to school here, well, it's a long 4 years if you don't like it, so, okay. Tiffany Chow asks, when you went college touring before application process starts, did you find it helpful in choosing schools you wanted to apply to? But what did you keep in mind when touring campuses? Okay, so I've talked about this before. I only really toured campuses with my older brother when he was applying. He's 2 years older than me, so I was like, I think I was a freshman? No. I think I was either a freshman or sophomore when I was looking at colleges, and I wasn't really looking at them for me. I was just kind of tagging along with my brother because I didn't have a choice. So I would say definitely tour them, because you sort of just get like a vibe from each school. They are very different. The setup of the school, I think, makes an influence as well. Looking at different dorms and maybe lecture halls, wherever the tour guides may take you, can be a big influence. As far as visiting the college that I go to now, we didn't go on a tour or anything, I don't think. We just kind of walked around and checked stuff out and kind of explored on our own. My campus is huge, so there's no way you could ever see the whole thing in one day, at least not if you're just walking around, but I recommend touring. I really do. I definitely. Okay. Style by Shelby asks, I know you previously stated that high school popularity does not matter in college, but does college still have the clique mentality that most high schools have? If so, what are the different types of people you will encounter? I think I've talked about this before a little bit. Harry, stop working. But no, I don't think so, at least not at my school. Again, this is going to vary at different schools, but honestly, the whole high school, like, mean girls type of thing, I really don't think it exists. Obviously, there's going to be groups of friends that kind of stick together as far as, like, dorming goes, just because you're not going to be friends with everyone and talk to everyone and hang out with everyone all the time, unless you're that kind of person, then do your thing. I'm not like that. I was very much to myself, and I was more of like an observant wallflower type of person, but I would say that no, the clique mentality is not there, but again, there are going to be just like smaller groups of friends, but it's not like you can't hang out with us because you're not wearing pink on Wednesday. Nah, okay. Katie Thomas asks, what was college orientation like? How often do you not get the classes that you need to have because of how fast they fill up? Okay, so just the last question. It's pretty much only freshman and sophomore years that's going to be a problem, just because freshmen you're like last priority. Everybody else gets to get their classes before you do, so it kind of sucks as a freshman, but it's also, I don't really think I ever had a huge issue with that. I usually got the classes that I needed, but I did have to waitlist a few times. But generally, if you're at least pretty close up on the waitlist, like higher up I mean, you're pretty likely to get in because people drop classes all the time, so it's usually not a big deal. What was college orientation like? Okay. See, I'm a pessimist. I'm not down for that whole like college is exciting thing. I was never like that even when I was starting college. So in orientation was rather boring. I've talked about this before too. I think I've talked about like all of this stuff before. But there's a lot of long speeches and lectures by apparently important people that you really don't care about, but you have to hear talk to you for an hour. And there were like those really cheesy icebreaker games that we had to participate in. I hate those so much, but we had to do those too. It wasn't bad, it was just not, I was not excited after orientation. I was like, can I just go back to my dorm now? Because at that point, I had already moved in, so it was just kind of like, I'm over this, like, let's move on. Okay. Tori Rister asks, do you prefer living on campus or off campus? On, simply for the convenience. I hate commuting. Commuting sucks so much, just because parking sucks. Actually, it's not even commuting. Driving, I don't even live that far from campus, so it's not that big of a deal, but it's parking that is the worst thing, by far. Oh, another question. Do you think college is better close to home? Oh, I think that was a typo. Do you think college is better closer to home or far away? If you can't answer this, since I'm sure you haven't done both, that's no problem. I've said before, I live far enough away from home that, it's not like too close for comfort. I'm not gonna have my parents driving here every weekend or anything like that, but it's definitely close enough that I could make that drive if I needed to, whenever I needed to, and it wouldn't be that bad. So I like to be in that happy medium. I wouldn't want to be somewhere so far away that I would have to fly home, just because I don't know, that's too far for me. But it really depends on what you want. Like, do you want to be close to home? Do you want to be as far away as possible? Because then that's settled. Just go far away. Okay, so I'm going to answer these last few questions all from Hannah Panda Bear. Okay, How did you maintain your weight in college? I didn't really. I think my first couple years of college I was definitely bigger than I am now. I think I'm actually, right now, I weigh, as far as weight goes, I probably weigh less than I did even in high school. Not because I'm trying to lose weight or anything, but you kind of hit this point where you're like, okay, this is the weight that I'm going to maintain just by like being myself. I don't know. I honestly, people ask me to do like a workout or fitness routine or anything, or a diet video or whatever. Like, I don't have a diet. I don't work out. I'm just me. I do my thing, and that's really all I can say about that. Sorry, that was really not helpful, but I feel like your weight will kind of hit a point where it's like, okay, this is where I'm going to chillax for a while. For moving in, would you recommend suitcases or boxes? Any tips for making the move in process smooth? All I can say about that is make sure you have something with wheels, whether it's like one of those cart things, or if it's a rolling suitcase, that's fine too. Anything with wheels, because carrying that stuff is not fun. Not down for that. Make sure you have something with wheels, and it'll totally make everything smoother. Unless there are stairs and no elevators, then that sucks. I don't know what to tell you about that. Are extracurricular activities as important in college as they were in high school? No. I would say no, but it depends. Like, for high school, the main reason you're doing them is so that you can get into college, right? Now that you're in college, are they as important anymore? Not necessarily. It's nice, I guess, to be involved in something. I'm not really, but if you're that type of person who wants to be involved in campus life, in just things in general, then I would recommend doing them. And last question for this video, what are your tips to living the college life on a budget? Just make sure you don't spend what you don't have. That's like my biggest tip. I think people who get kind of caught up in like the credit sort of thing, and they just want to buy whatever their friends are buying and, you know, be like college legit or whatever. What is college legit? I definitely just made that up. That's not a thing. Anyway, but just don't feel like you have to spend a lot of money. Like, I don't know. I learned after like for the first year and a half of college that I should probably not be spending as much money as I was because I wasn't making money. Therefore, when I was spending money, I was just like depleting my savings, which is really not something I would recommend. So just keep an eye on your spending, because I don't think we do that enough. So just be careful. And that's pretty much all I have to say about that. Alright, so that is it for this video. I hope you guys found it helpful. I will be getting to the rest of your questions at some point, but this is the first chunk of them. And I guess that is it. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.